So what we have out here is we have a series of barns and then we have a series of buildings. It depends on exactly what type of venue you're going to have as to obviously what you would be looking for. We have some folks that come on and they'll rent the entire grounds, usually minus the amphitheater, but they would have all of these buildings, all the parking lots, and each of the barns as well as structures. The majority of things that I would say the average person would be looking for, they're looking for a place to throw maybe a quinceanera. That happens out here frequently. Company parties happen out here. We have the Rotary of Central Point, who meets in this very building on Wednesdays every single week. Large picnics happen on our grounds. And then the horsing events, the various gymkhanas. 4-H has their horse shows here. The Southern Oregon Barrel Racing Association has their events here. And so it just depends on which barns they're using. During that same time, open riding is happening in the other barns. And so on any given weekend, if you're ever in the mood to see horses or watching horses in action, you can probably get each different type of style of riding right here in our very backyard. The folks who come in and rent Compton Arena, it's everything from a concert to, say, monster trucks that happen in there. There's boxing events that have happened in there. Bull riding happens in there. So we have events of all shapes and sizes that actually happen in the Compton Arena. We can actually seat with bleachers just over 3,000 people. If you start to add all the floor seating in, depending on what the seating structure is and where you have your stage, you could probably amp up another 500 or 600 seats. So that's the largest building here on the property, and the building stays probably 60 to 75% rented. So when you first drive in the grounds, the first building that you come up to is the Pageant Pavilion. It seats about 400 people in rounds with round tables. When you rent the facility or you rent the building, it comes with 10 tables and 8 chairs per table, but we have them available also for rent extra, and most people use that. It has 2 particular kitchens in that building, so you could actually divide the room and separate it if you needed to. Otherwise, you could serve out of both kitchens. So that's one of the pluses of that, as well as it's right here in the main parking lot. Next to that is the Mace Pavilion. We're sitting in it right now. Seats about 250 in rounds. Again, has a commercial kitchen as well as a small boardroom. So we do a lot of wedding receptions where you've got your wedding party that has their own private room over here. And again, grounds for kids to go out and run on and things outside that are safe. So people prefer this building usually if it's a smaller group than what would be in Pageant. The Oldswood Arena is another enclosed building. It has an asphalt floor, so we can do anything from sporting events in there to we actually put shavings down and put our animals in there during spring fair and then during county fair. It's used for auctions, it's used for parties. It's a very diverse building thanks to the Oldswoods. There's 3 barns on site. The Kraus Barn, that's the first one that you come to right behind this building, the Barker Barn next to that, and then Isola Arena, which is actually the first one or the front one that you see from Penninger Road as you drive in, and that's the largest of the 3. Folks are constantly in there riding. It just depends on the day as to whether it's a high school equestrian group that's in there or open riding or one of the many other renters that come in and rent as a group. There are 180 stalls approximately for us to use as well. We rent out overnight for stalls pretty inexpensively in the cosmic scheme of things, $20 or $28 if you have shavings. People will come for a couple of days, especially if they're en route to something and we're in bad weather or something like that, being right on the highway. They might actually bed down a horse for a couple of days. That's the extent of it. Nobody is here longer term than that. And during our larger venues, when the Reining Horses or the Quarter Horse Association is here, you'll see a whole bunch of portable stalls that actually get rented and brought in so that those folks can actually have enough stalls for all the folks that are going to be here. We keep concessioners busy. We have a preferred concessioner list that we work through, that we have agreements with those concessioners. So if folks are coming in and actually needing a concessioner, then we can give them this list. They can choose out of those who they're going to bring on site. And then we actually have an alcohol provider. We have an exclusive contract with this provider, which saves us and having to worry about all the other pieces and parts of licenses and handling and all those kind of things. And with alcohol comes also the security that comes with. We work with various security companies right now to bring security on grounds. We have great partnerships all in place so that folks, when you come in, you call or you go to the website, there's a lot of information at theexpo.com about each of the buildings. And so you'll get the information about the facility, call in, email, either way. And you have the ability to get in touch with us, and we can work with availability of the building as well as what the potential cost would be for you and your user group. One of the things that we are actually seeing an increase in are the sports teams or the sporting events that are actually occurring here on the grounds. We have, in years past, we've had the Color Run. We've got it coming back in May. We've had Vibe Run in the past. We, of course, have the Rogue Run, which is a premier run here in Jackson County, happening in the fall around Harvest Festival. And we're seeing more and more of that, the tough mud kind of events and things like that. One is because we've got the acreage to do it on. We don't have to have extra permits. We don't have to cross major roadways. So we are contacted quite frequently to be able to do that sort of thing. And again, working with the Southern Oregon Sports Commission, it allows us in partnership with them to bring the right organizations onto the grounds and give that offering out to the folks here in Jackson County and the nearby areas. We have the opportunity with the amphitheater to do great things, to do amazingly wonderful things, everything from corporate groups who have come in that actually want to do some huge kickoff parties and trainings from our stage here locally, as well as concert venues, as well as there's a couple of runs that actually want to start and finish in there and do their grand celebration. There are a couple of non-for-profit groups who have contacted us who would like to do their fundraisers in there as well. And it's diverse enough of a venue that you could really narrow it down and have in the reserved seating area that 1,000+ seats right there, as well as the VIP area up front. You could really narrow that down and tent off the back and have a really cool festival in there as well. There's a lot of good things that are getting ready to happen for the amphitheater coming up this spring. It comes off mothballs in May, so be looking for us to be announcing all the great things that are going to be happening there. So between May and October is our primary window for the amphitheater. It's pretty difficult after that and before that to be able to really promise people they're going to be able to have their event and actually clear all the people that they want to have at the same time. The one beautiful thing about the facility is its ability to mutate and transform into what we need it to be. Not only the grounds crew that's here, but also the crews that come in with the rental groups. You can see this place transform like that. It's just phenomenal.